today about the death penalty or capital punishment. First of all, we all know that when you commit a horrible crime, not like I stole a lollipop from a gas station, but like serious murders, you are put into jail, obviously, typically on death row where you're sentenced to death. Depending on your crime, you have to go through a lot of the court systems. There's a lot of lawyers and courts involved because you want to double check to make sure that person is really guilty before you put them to death. But a little story, when I was a senior in high school, we took a senior trip as like my school does it every year to New York City. And so it was really exciting. It was the first time that I'd ever been to New York City. But one day it was like our ministry day, and I was like, I don't want to do ministry. Like, I'm in New York City, I want to have fun, and I have to pick something to go do, and I didn't want to do it. But all my friends decided to go to this prison, so I was like, sure, I'll go. Like, it's no big deal. And I went just thinking like we were just gonna like tour it to like intimidate us or something. I had no idea what we were gonna do. But what I didn't know is that there are a lot of prison ministries out there who go into prisons and really they have church services and they form relationships with the men and women there, and just really like love on them and show them that even though they're stuck in prison, that they still have a hope. And I was like, well, that's stupid. Like, they're just gonna sit in there, like they're bad people. They're never gonna change, whatever. But then we started hearing testimonies from people there. There was one man who talked to us who was in a gang and like involved in a lot of drugs and dealing them and taking them and so on and so forth, and had committed several murders, and he was like, I'm gonna die in here whether they kill me or not. Like, this is what I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. And then he told us his story how one day the ministry came in and they talked to them, and he gave his life to Christ, and now he's doing that in the prison and has been able to form relationships with other men there and helped them grow in their faith. And so capital punishment, well, yes, it creates more space in prisons and it gets rid of those bad people or whatever. I don't think that it's right, because even though they have committed something horrible, I believe that everyone has a hope and everyone has a future of some kind, and I think that that should be given to everyone, even if you are in prison. And so I think that capital punishment, it has its benefits, yes, but the cost of keeping someone in jail versus the cost of capital punishment, sometimes people say that it costs more to keep them in prison, but in actuality, when you take the cost of like the actual like death of the person, you have to take into account the cost of all the lawyers and the cost of all the courts, because there's a lot of that system that you have to go through to make sure that that person really is guilty, so you don't kill an innocent person. So I think the capital punishment needs to be taken away in certain circumstances, because I believe that everyone should have a hope. You don't just want to kill someone just because they did something bad. Like, there is a possibility of them changing their life, and I never believed that until I actually heard stories. So I don't think there should be a capital punishment or a death sentence, because I think people have a hope and a future.